Recently, I posted a video of this new kaizo level called Poison Gardens, one of my proudest works, and I'll quickly step you through how you can easily make something like this too. And before we begin, a huge shout out to Lucas for retrieving the entire level as I lost my level code, yet again, and we managed to replicate it 1-to-1 through strenuous work, truly impressive. Now let's jump back in. The first thing, and the yardstick that bars your level's quality, is how you develop the main element. Now, it doesn't have to be sophisticated, like a frickin' cruise or a warping elevator, but you must ensure it's one singular main element. I'm not limiting you to using a single item throughout the entire level, just to the extent that it's quite evident on what it is. For example, it can simply be kaizo jumping, it can be sword blades, it could be blue platforms, any items that you think made into an interesting experience will work. It could even be an idea like a clear condition, like being pacifist, getting over it styles, or just precise jumps. For my level, I used the idea of instantaneous unstoppability. Well, basically you can't rest anywhere because the ground below will be gone. The items that support this concept will be crumbling blocks, moving platforms, even Goombas. Further sophisticated setups will be the trampoline, where you only get one shot, or the only safe ceiling will crumble up. Well, yes, it is fine if you can't think of anything right off the go. I actually hesitated on using trampolines as the main elements at the start of this creation. But one thing, once you've gone decently inside this creation, it's not a good idea to introduce another element. It wouldn't make much sense if the first section is about a tight speedrun, but then into a casual garden. Now the gameplay part. Most of the levels I've seen can deliver fun platforming, but sustainability is often overlooked. You might be wondering, what is sustainability? Well, it can be defined in rules of difficulty and pace, basically how the level is played, and while any style could work, most certainly, like being casual and easy, or straight up monstrosity, or like Poison Gardens as if it's a mixture of both. Not particularly beginner friendly, while still a blast for experienced players. The most important part though, is that you have to sustain this difficulty. If it's chill, keep it chill the whole time. If you're gonna be hard, make it hard all the way. And yes, people do overlook this when not keeping it in mind, like for example, a sudden boss fight, which you shouldn't place regardless of any circumstances, or just making you wait a long time for no reason, it just downgrades the level. A nice example would be Sentinel series, the tests. Like the memory test, it's going to make you memorize patterns the entire way without making you do kaizo, or like the consistency test. It's going to make you do kaizo without making you memorize throughout. Even the main levels can accomplish this. The first level is like a beginner level to showcase the game's physics, and it's ridiculously simple the whole time. The 8th level is rather advanced with precise jumps, which is also kept the entire way, with timing and unsteady ground. The most crucial part of making a level is being creative with the design, which a lot of you urges to know how. The answer to that? I don't have it. Truly. Something I can tell you that you're underestimating your power. Sure, what your craft may not seem unique to you, but it's a whole new thing that you're able to present to me. Our first playthrough is only going to be full of surprises, so you're capable, you just don't know. Now that your level is more or less finished, there's just one last thing you lazy piggies tend to miss. That is to decorate your level beautifully to make it look nice, which is what I like to call,
Aestheticization.
Aestheticization. Yes, indeed, my older levels never did that, but soon enough I realized how powerful it actually is. Just look at the difference. So how do you aestheticize? Well, honestly, it's completely up to you, as long as it looks nicer. But if you truly want some rigid methods that surely work, here's some. First, we have the first degree randomness. Here, you just overlay the 2x2 tiles with the assets from the tile category. Effort has to be made. Secondly, we have a second degree randomness. On top of that, use your art skills to add bumps here and there to make it look natural. As a side note, it might not be really suitable for a more rigid level, which brings us to the third method, which is the tunnels of despair. just made that name up, which is very useful for fusing aestheticization with heavy contraption levels. By making the entire ground into long tunnels, it looks very civilized instead of being an uncultivated land. It's also one of the less time-consuming ones, that is, when you master this technique. And the last method is by your creativity. There are countless unique aestheticization methods other than these, like stuffing entities inside the ground, or making it pitch black so you don't even need to care at all, or maybe making it seem like you're having a mental breakdown. That's cool. But another thing that often people forget is background aestheticization. You can edit the background by tapping G in the level editor to toggle between different background elements. Honestly, putting them randomly is perfectly fine, but it's also useful to introduce caves or to indicate jumps. One thing I like to do is to make it completely diminished or completely covered. Easy. There's a few other things. First of all, the length between checkpoints should be uniform in length and difficulty. Second of all, it's best to keep the apple number multiples of 5 or 69. Thirdly, make sure you have some sort of secret area, so even for a hard level, it's sometimes better to hide the red apple somewhere, which is justifiable. Last but not least, make sure you're having fun before you ensure others will be. Another thing I'd like to address is the title of the levels, since I don't know why, but quite a lot of you asked me how I came up with them. I'd say you don't really need it unless you're running a YouTube channel, and I also don't really know how to since I'm stuck with elementary vocab. I'm not an English teacher, so it's just whatever you can come up with, or thesaurus, or nerdy alliteration. All in all, that's it for the video. Check the link below if you want to check the level Poison Gardens. Peace!